Rapid advancements in technology, the rise of global trade, and the intertwining of world economies have defined the age of globalization. But are we on the brink of a new era? An era of deglobalization? Globalization, as we know, has been the driving force of the world economy, connecting countries, businesses, and individuals in a complex web of relationships. It has led to unprecedented growth, prosperity, and interdependence. But recent data suggests that we may be witnessing a change in course. According to a paper discussed at the Brookings Papers on Economic Activity Conference, globalization has slowed, but not reversed, since the financial crisis of 2008 and 2009. The paper uses data on trade, capital flows, and immigration to paint a picture of an evolving global landscape. A significant factor contributing to this slowdown is the impact of imports from low-wage countries on the labor market. This led to a trade war between the United States and China, two of the world's largest economies. But, interestingly, these occurrences were not potent enough to reverse the trend of globalization. The COVID-19 pandemic further complicated the situation, putting a temporary halt to global trade and raising questions about the resilience of global supply chains. But trade bounced back sharply after a brief decline in 2020, showing the resilience of the global economy. Another noteworthy development is the potential impact of geopolitical tensions, such as Russia's invasion of Ukraine and Europe's reliance on Russian energy. These could lead to reshoring and friendshoring, where countries prioritize trading with allies. In light of these facts, it seems we are navigating in uncharted waters. But is this a sign of deglobalization, or merely a shift in the landscape of globalization? The COVID-19 pandemic has been a global disruptor, putting a temporary halt to international trade and raising questions about the sustainability of global supply chains. It was a sudden jolt that sent shockwaves through economies worldwide, with trade seeing a sharp decline. However, according to a Brookings article, this was a temporary hiccup, rather than a permanent shift. Global trade rebounded, showing a sharp increase following the initial decline in 2020. But the pandemic's impact was not solely confined to trade. It raised questions about the resilience of globalization, particularly in the Asia-Pacific region. Guy Ryder, the head of the International Labor Organization, or ILO, voiced optimism despite the challenges. He asserted that the Asia-Pacific region wouldn't abandon globalization, but rather, it highlighted the necessity for robust social safety nets. The pandemic exposed the vulnerabilities in our societies and economies, emphasizing the need for stronger social protection measures. Yet, the ongoing border restrictions and business closures have led to significant social and economic costs. The ripple effects of these measures have been felt across the globe, disrupting livelihoods and causing economic strain. Despite these challenges, Ryder believes that the pandemic will not lead to a permanent unraveling of connectivity and globalization. While the advent of the Omicron variant has added another layer of complexity to the situation, the resilience of the global economy is evident. However, it's crucial to acknowledge the uneven and uncertain nature of the recovery process. Global employment is not predicted to rebound to pre-pandemic levels until at least 2023, according to the ILO. While the pandemic has indeed posed challenges, it appears it has not led to a permanent unraveling of connectivity and globalization. However, the road to recovery is uncertain and uneven. The world is navigating through unprecedented times, and the resilience of globalization will continue to be tested as we move forward. As we stand on the precipice of change, what does the future hold for globalization? Are we moving towards reshoring and friendshoring? Recent developments in international politics and economics have spurred a whirlwind of speculations. One such speculation originates from the Brookings Institution, where analysts have been closely observing the potential impacts of Russia's invasion of Ukraine and Europe's dependence on Russian energy. Here's a thought. These geopolitical events may lead to a phenomenon called reshoring. Reshoring is when companies move their manufacturing and production processes back to their home country, a shift away from the long-standing tradition of outsourcing to countries with lower labor costs. This movement, driven by a desire for increased control over supply chains and a reduction in geopolitical risk, could significantly alter the dynamics of global trade. Another concept making waves is friendshoring. This is the idea of countries focusing their trade on friendly nations, reducing their dependence on potentially hostile states. This redirection of trade routes could have far-reaching implications, changing the very fabric of international trade networks. But what does this mean for the global economy? Well, Reshoring could potentially lead to job creation in home countries, boosting domestic economies. On the flip side, it might also result in increased prices for consumers due to higher production costs. Friendshoring, meanwhile, could reshape the global trade map, creating new alliances and partnerships, while possibly leading to a decrease in trade conflicts. However, these are mere conjectures, possibilities in a sea of uncertainties. The future of globalization is as intriguing as it is unpredictable. As we move forward in this shifting landscape, it is clear that the future of globalization is not set in stone. It's a puzzle that we continue to piece together, one that has significant implications for the global economy. In the face of these changes and uncertainties, what are the key takeaways? Well, we've seen that globalization has slowed, but it hasn't reversed. The COVID-19 pandemic posed challenges, but it didn't unravel the tapestry of interconnectedness. The potential shift towards reshoring and friendshoring is apparent, and it could reshape our economic landscape. Yet the future of globalization is still shrouded in mystery, with many questions left unanswered. While the future of globalization remains uncertain, one thing is clear. The world economy is in a state of flux, and the decisions we make today will shape the economic landscape of tomorrow.